Everyone, how you doing? It is Simon Pink. Welcome to my radio show. Yet again, I've gone above the boundaries. I've got one of the greatest guitarists in the entire universe with me today on Zoom. He's not allowed in the studio. I've heard about him. He's an American, as we'll find out. He is a genius. You may know him from Chewing the Gristle podcast, the Greg and Ken Show, the Koch Marshall Trio, and he's a Fender demonstrator. He's an awesome guitarist. He's a full-on entertainer, as we'll find out. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have the wonderful Mr. Greg Koch with us today. How are you doing, Greg?
I am doing fabulous. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's always good to have you, Greg, all the time. Where are you at the moment?
I'm in Austria, of all places. We are playing tonight. We've been in Austria for about 4 days here, and we've been enjoying it. We were lucky that we were able to avoid all the pestilence that's going on here at present. There's lots of torrential rains, but everywhere we've been kind of in these more Alps-oriented places, and it's been absolutely gorgeous. So we've been having a good old time. Crowds have been good. Food has been good. I can't complain.
It's a wonderful place. We talked about the Sound of Music a minute ago. Also, the birthplace of Mozart, if I remember correctly, as well. Salzburg.
That's correct.
I believe so. The birthplace of Adolf Hitler, but we're not allowed to talk about that on air. Okay.
Right. That's probably kind of a downbringer. Bring up.
So we're banning Austria. Anybody from Austria, we're banning them from now on, just in case. Not kidding. I'm kidding. Greg, what are you doing in Austria?
Well, the band's been on the road here since September 4th. We flew over, and we've been keeping kind of a pretty hectic schedule as we've been scouring Germany hither and yon. We've been to the Netherlands, all over Deutschland. We went down, as I said, we're in Austria. Tomorrow we're heading to Switzerland, and then we're in France for 5 days. We head back to Deutschland, doing this big guitar summit thing in Mannheim, Germany. And then we fly to Fair Albion to indulge in 12 days of England rambling and rolling.
I know you are, and I'm so looking forward to it. I've got my tickets already to the local show in Norwich. It's on October the 4th, I believe. I forgot. Do you know if that's right? You probably don't. You're so hectic.
Off the top of my head. All I know is that my dad was stationed in Norwich during
No way.
WW2.
Wow. Do you know whereabouts in it? Because they haven't actually got a runway or a station in Norwich, but there's lots of places outside. Would you happen to know which one it was?
I do not. All I know is on B-24s, and he raised a lot of hell. That's what I understand.
That's what we like, you see. That's why Adolf isn't here anymore, because you're dad. Thank you very much.
That's
great,
right.
Dad. I appreciate that. He won the war for us. Go, America, go. That's what we like to hear. Bloody brilliant stuff. Great stuff. Well, look, it's a big date for me as well, because not only are you coming to my hometown, it's also my birthday on the same day.
Oh, no way.
I know. I think either somebody has arranged it because they knew it was my birthday, or the gods have been talking and they thought, what can we organise Simon this year for his birthday present? Let's get Greg in town.
You're going to have the most festive birthday of all time.
What can I expect on my birthday?
Well, you're gonna experience a musical debauchery at the highest level. They'll dogs and cats living together. You know, they're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets. You can expect all of these things during our show. Your birthday celebration will be a live creature-devouring bacchanal.
I love it. I'm going to have one of my birthday candles inserted in a dog bum hole, and I'm going to light it there and then eat it afterwards. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Who do you think I am? Donald Trump? Blimey, come on, can't be having things like that. Excellent.
You know what? Speaking of eating, though, I can't wait to have the English breakfast again, because that, although I'm not into the blood pudding, that I leave alone. But the the rashers, the bangers, the mushrooms, all of that, I'm in. The baked beans, bring it. I'm going to feast like a warrior.
Doesn't get any better, does it? It's every day for me, as you can probably tell. As you can tell, every day for me, that's the way it should be done, with an English cup of tea.
Yeah, well, I'm more of a coffeeman myself, but you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We'll suggest some nice places to go in Norwich when you're up here as well, so that would be good. Greg, look, you're a guitarist. Just in case nobody's ever come across you in the universe, which I find it very hard to believe if they've got the internet. Tell us a little bit about what you do, who you are, where you came from.
Oh boy. Well, I'm from beautiful Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which is, for those who don't know their way around the US of A, it is about an hour and a half north of Chicago, right on the lake. And I've lived there my whole life. And I did go to, I knew I wanted to play guitar at a young age, and just became obsessed with it, and the stuff I got into early on is kind of the stuff that still fuels my fury. So I guess you could say I really haven't matured much since, age 12 or something like that. But
We're all the same, us boys.
I became obsessed with Jimi Hendrix and Cream era Eric Clapton, and the James Gang and the Stones and the Beatles and Allman Brothers Band, all that kind of stuff. But I was always kind of a stickler for reading about these people and finding out who their influences were. I was always trying to reach back to figure out why things sounded the way they did, trying to find the roots of all the different things. And so I became pretty enamored with blues, going back. And then I went into this country thing as a part of, because I heard Albert Lee playing with Eric Clapton around 1979, 1980. This live record came out of Clapton's, and Albert Lee was on there. I was like, well, hey, what's this? And also Mark Knopfler was a big one. But then,
Wow.
I get guys, I look back at who did these guys listen to? And I just decided I always wanted to do my own band that had elements of all of these different things. Definitely a heavy blues influence on what I do, but I got into jazz, the chicken picking thing, and I certainly like to rock, so and funk and all that other kind of stuff. So it's all in there. And I went to school for music, primarily to my parents insisted I go to college, and so I did go. I majored in jazz guitar, but really, really concentrated on the beer. Really, if we're honest, I excelled in those studies. And again, I wanted to know how to read and write music at some kind of a professional level, and I wanted to learn how to play over changes and be somewhat cognizant of more sophisticated harmony. But I never really wanted to be a full-on jazz guitar player in terms of like knowing 100 standards every, backwards, forwards, and every which way from Tuesday, and playing at some lounge, engaging in, vigorous satin dollery. Not that there's anything wrong with that, mind you.
No, absolutely not.
But I basically started my band, pretty right after college. I was always playing in bands all through college, and, played with every kind of imaginable scenario, but really did my own band. And that's where some people from Fender saw me playing, and word started to get around. And I started to find this niche with doing these Fender things. But that led me to get a record deal with Steve Vai's record label, Favored Nations. And by that point, I'd already had like 7 records out on my own. So that was like a compilation record. And then I got a deal with a record company in Europe, Mascot Provogue, and did a bunch of records on their label, and that got me touring, at least in mainland Europe. And this is going back like 20 years at this point, 20 some years. And then just from then, I guess the thing that really kicked it into gear, even though Fender, I mean, I did that stuff for 15 years where I was, in their words, not mine, kind of their ambassador that would go all over the place and play shows and clinics and do whatever. I started doing guitar videos for this guitar store in Louisville, Colorado called Wildwood Guitars. And that's really kind of where a lot of people found out about what I did. I think that all of the other things prior to that, I mean, certainly I was featured in a bunch of different magazines, and I wrote a bunch of books with Hal Leonard and did all these videos, and as far as DVDs you could purchase. But something about that doggone internet, when I started doing those videos with Wildwood, people just saw those by the boatload. And that was kind of my my entree into a much more larger audience. And then, I I did the Fishman thing. I got pickups with Fishman. I started to do some signature guitars with Reverend, but always just kind of doing my own band thing. And about 5-6 years ago, came this band that's really kind of been the best vehicle for what I do, which is my son on drums and Toby Lee Marshall on organ. And it's this organ trio from hell that, you know, and you got a screaming Hammond B3, and my son plays drums, and kind of it's like, how do you get a great drummer? You make one.
Too
So
right.
he's kind of a combination of, you know, Bonham meets Bernard Purdy on the Highway to Ginger Baker, you know, that
Nice.
thing. And so that's been my main vehicle for my original material and so on and so forth for the last 5 or 6 years. But I got like 20 records out, and there's a rash of stuff on the internet where you can see the band playing live. And I would say in the last 5 years we've done more, especially in the last 3 years. I mean, I've already got 22,000 miles in on the new van just this year alone. Back in America. Not to mention what we're the miles we're piling on over here in Europe at present. So really been hitting the road quite a bit. You know, I have 4 kids, and they're all kind of out of the house now. So it's really kind of my time to just kind of go on the road with the band and show what all of this other stuff I've been doing over the years, which I've done, which has been very, very helpful with maintaining, you know, a livelihood and making sure that my family was provided for. But all of that was, you know, stuff that I did. But my main thing has always just been playing, writing music, performing live, and doing my shit. So now we've really been able to do that quite a bit more, and it's been an absolute blast. So
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. And we are the beneficiaries of one of the greatest guitarists, because you're coming over to our shores very soon. So looking forward. Now, the latest album, forgive me if I get this wrong, Melting the Farmhouse.
yes,
Is that the latest album that's come out?
that is
Fantastic stuff.
Yeah.
It is the latest one. There are some fantastic tracks on there. I want to play one now, okay? Because you've talked the talk, but do you walk the walk, Greg?
Well,
Let's have a we'll find out in a second. We'll have a listen to this one. This is called Six-Legged Fire-Breathing Dog. Take it away, Greg.